Hello and welcome to episode 80 of Thinking Outside the Pod.
80. That's
We-
getting big. That's a big number.
We're big 80.
We're the big 80.
It's like a milestone.
Yes, I think we just unlocked the achievement on getting
Arthritis.
80 episodes. Yeah, arthritis. Whoa.
The arthritis episode.
Yeah.
Arthritis.
What's I guess has there anybody that's been married 80 years? Like, what's the 80-year anniversary?
Nobody
thing?
gets married for that long anymore, man. Come on.
Well, yeah, these
So
days.
you gotta live that long.
People get
Well,
sick
not-
of each other like in no time.
Well, these days, obviously, but like back then, like in the 1920s.
Well, if they live that long,
Yeah,
Yeah.
wait, well,
That's the other
you have
thing.
to even live that long. You'd have to get married when you're like 15.
well, I guess that's what back then they would get married real young, and I guess the longer that they the younger they got married. I don't know. Hold on.
Well, but still, think of it. Even if you got married at 15, by the time you got to your 80th anniversary, you'd be 95. So you have to live to 95.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So I don't. Probably there's probably been.
Didn't they have
some
like
couple,
polio and shit like that back then? I
If
don't
I
think
had
that
to
would ever
guess
happen.
where it would be in some Asian country.
Maybe like they live on
know?
love and shit. I don't know. Or live on a prayer. Huh? Bon
So-
Jovi reference.
Definitely not America. I doubt it'd be in America, but you never know.
Let's
The
see.
Chinese have been around forever. You're right. They might have something like that.
'Cause that's a long ass time to be married.
Let's see. 80 would be oak or diamond or pearl.
Oak.
Like that. Okay, oak in UK, but we're suggested modern gift list. Okay, created. Okay, so diamond or pearl. So if you celebrated your 80th anniversary, you would get a diamond. They're like, congratulations,
Oh, here's
you
a big-
did it.
Congratulations
Big-ass
on being
diamond.
alive.
They put all the expensive gifts.
I
that-
think like after 60 or 70 years of marriage, you probably don't really realize you're still married, you know?
Who is this person
like,
next
You're,
to
yeah,
you?
yeah, you're probably like in a room, like in a home.
you just forget the other person. You're just like, who's this stranger in my house? But
Who is this?
I'm too weak and feeble to do anything about
Do
this.
anything. I want you out of here.
Somebody says, it's like, that's
Yelling
your
at
wife.
each
You're like,
other.
what? I'm married? Oh my
There-
I
god.
give you a megaphone and a
The-
hearing aid.
They're both just looking suspiciously at the other
other.
person. Just like they're the whole day. They wake up and they have to do it all over again.
Oh man.
But yeah, so if y'all want to send your diamonds and pearls into
Or
Thinking
oak.
Outside the Pod
Oh, awesome,
to
yeah.
celebrate our
We're on the other
80th,
side of the pond.
yeah, or oak. We just get like a lot of
Saplings or whatever. Yeah.
Let's just random bits
Oak
of wood in the
potpourri.
mail.
Sweet.
All right, whatever.
This
That's
is
fine.
an oak.
To celebrate our 80th anniversary or week anniversary. I don't know. We're
Send
technically
us
we're
diamonds.
technically not at our third year yet. Whatever.
Is this our third year?
Well, no, we're still in our second year.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is season 2.
Season 2?
Episode 100 will be the end of season 2, and then so we're still
Episode 100.
Getting
yeah
there.
we're getting there. So we'll have an episode planned for that. I don't know what we're gonna do. Something's happening.
It's gonna be probably the same thing that we did for our other anniversary, where we had big plans and then nothing gets done.
And yeah, and
Stuff got done.
You know how it goes.
I did a lot of stuff.
Jimmy does it.
I probably will scale it down. I think we'll just talk about just each one of us
We
will
can
talk
play
about
a couple of old episodes and talk about some of them.
maybe if I want to, or whatever. But yeah, episode 80. What's been going on this last week with you guys? We were all three here for last episode, right?
I was here, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so as well.
Yes.
Since then, not really much.
Unfortunately.
Me and Patrick did a video project that
Yes.
that went pretty well. We did a promotion for our a football thing at work, and it got like
The high school football.
yeah, high school football coverage is starting up again. So we did a video for it, and it's got up to like 6,500 views or something like that
Really?
on Facebook. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Now if we only get our own projects, to
yeah,
actually
yeah, that's
much.
but
Wow.
but still, it like reignited my like passion for videos. I'm like, I want to make videos.
Me too,
I
dude.
want
I'm
to.
telling you.
Oh.
I always enjoyed doing the stuff like that. And I mean, I don't have the best equipment, but it's like that, like the saying goes, just get out there and shoot something and do something, you know?
Well, I
So-
mean, as long as you got light,
So
you
that's
got
what I'm
enough to
doing.
work off of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, and
light.
nowadays the freaking cameras on cell phones are fucking amazing. With some lighting, with the right lighting, you can pretty much shoot whatever you want on something like that.
well, it's kind of there's this video about this guy who's talking about his camera that he has, and he's been making like YouTube videos and progressively better and better videos on his YouTube, and he was saying, this is my camera. It's I know everything about this camera. I don't want a new camera because he
doesn't need it.
Because for what he does, it's perfect for him, and he knows everything about it. And it's really not the technology that makes the story better. It's the story that makes it better.
Content.
So and there's a lot of post-production stuff you can do after you're done that really makes a lot of difference. That's post-production is really important these days. So, and there's programs.
There's an app for that.
Yeah, there's multiple apps for everything you need to do on a film. So yeah, that's just
casting. That's what we need an app for.
That's
casting apps.
I think it's
Craigslist.
Tinder.
There we go.
Tinder. And Craigslist. There we go.
We'll just make a profile as a movie production thing.
You remember we did those Tinder episodes? Well, guess who found out that I was on Tinder via one of her friends?
Oh.
Yeah. So I had to go and delete my Tinder profile.
Well, yeah, you should have deleted it already.
Erase it. I didn't realize it was we hadn't used it. I hadn't used it since we did that episode, and I was on it for maybe a couple weeks after that.
And then you need to delete your.
I got catfished. You remember? I got catfished.
Well, this is your fault.
I stopped using it. And it was still on my phone. Well, it was on this phone, and I guess I had opened it up. So so she came at me with that, and I had to pull that off of there. Speaking of Tinder, just real quick side story.
Oh, God.
Speaking of that, you probably should delete your Ashley Madison account as well.
No. Let's not get crazy, Jimmy.
You're like,
I need that.
That's too much.
Yeah,
I need that.
You know, these chicks I meet on Tinder, they get too, emotionally involved and touchy-feeling. They want to, they catch the feels.
They were saying 80% of the female accounts on Ashley Madison were actually maintained by Ashley Madison. So it was all just guys, pretty much.
Oh, what?
They were just fake female accounts.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like
So you got botted.
these dudes are hooking up with other dudes dressed as women or something weird.
Well, I bet there's probably some of that going on too.
Yeah. I mean, it's
that's that type of website.
people are weird, so yeah, maybe. But no, the actual accounts just to keep men on the site, I guess, whatever they were doing.
Well,
so
sure, botting. I mean, that's like that on dating sites.
That would suck because that means there's only 15 real women that are just getting banged by everybody else, right? Oh, can you think of those odds? If most of those fake women accounts are run by the fucking site, that means that there's only a handful of chicks that are just taking it from everybody in a certain area,
Maybe, I don't know.
Holy crap!
I don't know the actual numbers on it, but that's crazy.
That's like hoeing on the whole nother level, dude. Whole nother level.
Well, I mean,
or it's just one lady.
And that's for free, dude. Yeah, what if that's one lady?
One lady called Ashley Madison.
Oh, she's just giving it to everyone.
That's what it is. Oh no!
You don't want to kiss this woman when she comes over. You guys, everybody on Ashley Madison, do not kiss these chicks.
But yeah, so we did that video. So that was pretty cool. That
was very cool.
Man,
it came out a lot better than I thought.
Came out, yeah. I liked it. So and people seem to like it as well. So that's good. And that's really what I did.
I even forgot we did that already. I was like, nothing really happened.
But yeah, that was cool. I guess in the news, I mean the biggest kind of launch so far. I mean YouTube Gaming. YouTube came out with their own rival.
They're trying to rival Twitch. Is what they're doing.
What's gaming?
What's Twitch?
What's launch? Is it Rocket?
What's for lunch?
But yeah, so YouTube Gaming, it's the big rival, or they want it to be the big rival of Twitch. What do you think, Fish? Is it gonna?
I don't know. I have yet to actually look at it or to really have any interest in looking at it. Because Twitch is already there.
Because Twitch exists.
It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be hard. They're going to have to really show that they're better than Twitch, and I don't know how they're going to do that.
I think the layout itself, looking at the both layouts, I think the layout for the YouTube one's a lot more vibrant, a lot more user-friendly, a lot more easier to roll through. The Twitch one is you can tell where everything is, but it's more modulated. It's more like it's sections,
Well, I've never watched Twitch. I did the Twitch does Pokemon.
Yeah,
I watched a little bit just because we were talking about it for the podcast.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love that everybody's fucking up with Pokemon.
Yeah, so I saw that a little bit, but I've never really watched any streaming things. But from what I understand, the layout's pretty much the same. I mean, it has
Pop them up.
I mean,
Check-
it does what they both do the same thing. Like they have the video and then they have the chat thing on the side of it. So I mean
When you think of it, they're really. What else are you going to do?
exactly, yeah.
You know, there's not much else to it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what that service is for.
So I mean, if as long as like the YouTube thing and the YouTube gaming thing is consistent and like doesn't go down
Yeah.
or anything like that, I because I don't see Twitch being that much like ahead of it.
Well,
Like,
what I
that's the
see
thing.
YouTube possibly doing is something that Twitch kind of stopped doing. Is if they have it to where after your stream is done, it saves the video and then posts it to like a custom YouTube account that you make, then it might be a little bit more interesting than Twitch, because Twitch used to do that, but now they started doing it where after X amount of time it deletes
It
old
goes away.
files.
Well,
So you have to download your files. Where if it being Google and stuff, and they have all the server space, if they make it so that it's permanent, then it's like, okay, now that might draw in a few people, because then they can just download the YouTube video.
and if it's the same as like the YouTube live thing, like the YouTube like just this live streaming on YouTube already, like that you could do that already a long time ago.
Yeah.
Or not, I don't know how long ago, but you can. It's been going on for a while. That I think saves to your account. So if it's anything like that, I would say yes, but I'm not sure. I would think that would be a no-brainer, especially like if they have the space and whatnot
Yeah.
to do it. But it depends. Yeah, I guess. I mean, if Twitch doesn't do that, I would think that YouTube for sure needs to. If
Well,
they're not doing it, look into that because
Because
that's
Twitch used to do it, but then, like I said, they
Server
changed the
space
policy,
or-
and then they stopped it to save on server space and stuff.
Dude,
They started
YouTube is.
deleting
I mean, they got Google, man. Their server is like half this world is their server. You
Yeah.
know.
So,
Plus,
yeah.
the thing is that they can just start throwing money into this shit
Mm-hmm.
because they're gonna probably cut out fucking Google Plus. They pulled back from like a bunch of Google services that they were developing.
well, yeah.
So I mean, I think that they've got the cash to be able to make. And just looking at the apps on my cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
the Twitch app looks cool, but the gaming app for YouTube just looks a lot fucking better, dude.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, there's not much that they can do really different on the layout side. I guess finding different games and whatnot could be something, but I mean, we just looked at it before we started, and I just typed in Mario, and I found a person making like the Super Mario Maker
Yeah.
thing, and he was doing that, making like a level.
Sure. I mean, yeah,
So
it's good. Yeah,
It's so.
maybe
And,
Twitch maybe with better search.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, and I mean, everyone's got a YouTube. I mean, YouTube is pretty much the most prevalent video streaming thing or video watching thing, and
Sure.
people posting videos. I would assume YouTube's at the top there too.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
So-
I think, man.
So Twitch is it Amazon now, right? Amazon bought it,
I think so.
or who do we say?
That sounds
Twitch
right.
has got
Yeah.
I think
some
Amazon
backing
bought
too,
it.
so this
Yeah.
is gonna be very interesting, really,
Yeah.
really soon.
And there's no reason why two video streaming places work, especially like I would assume a lot of the real established Twitch people they're not gonna switch to YouTube gaming.
Probably not, because I mean, all their money is tied into Twitch already.
Exactly.
With
So
advertisements and stuff.
so I assume
but YouTube will benefit from people that have just started doing Twitch that are like, you know what, let's check this
Yeah,
one out.
like
You know,
if-
this is
or-
the next thing.
like if people have a YouTube already and they like throw videos on YouTube all the time, but they have to switch to Twitch to
Switch to Twitch.
Well,
like
'cause
that
what
could be
you're
a
not
new.
what you'll see from some people, probably like the smaller sites, is instead of seeing the video that says, "Oh, I'm streaming on Twitch now. Here's a link to the Twitch channel." It's just going to be, "Oh, I'm streaming now,"
On
and it'll just pop up in their
YouTube gaming.
subscription feed or whatever.
That's what I'm thinking is going to be the biggest hit because
So for some people, like newer ones, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
probably ones that aren't established, they may just switch over and just say, "Screw it." you know?
especially if they're not big on Twitch, like,
Yeah.
and they just use Twitch as kind of like their live streaming thing. It's like, why not just use the same service you're telling all your followers to go to anyway, or your subscribers anyway? So that's I see that, and I guess for like people that are not or thinking about going into live streaming, they're gonna, since they already have a YouTube or something.
Sure. I
They'll-
mean, it's
they'll
already
just
there.
stick there. Yeah,
instead of
so-
having to make a separate account and then have to keep track of it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's all rolled into one account.
Exactly. Like me, I want to do like the retro gaming thing. I think that would be fun, at least for me. I don't know how watchable it will be. because it is retro gaming. It's
Well,
like
just watching. I think it'd be interesting, like personally, like you said, just because
Mhm.
to see the way I would come up with the problem solving for
Mhm.
certain stuff that I'd.
Yeah.
Because back then when I played this NES, I was probably like no more than 10 years old. You know.
yeah, or at the very least, it'd be fun if like some of the co-op things. I mean, or like the it's not co-op. I mean, at most 4 players
So we're
on
turning
those
into
older
Game
games.
Grumps, is what you're telling me?
Yes, I'm sorry to break it to you this way. I'm gonna
No.
start calling you Aaron from now
Oh,
on.
God.
And I don't know the other people. Dan, I think is the person.
Yeah.
But I would like to get into that. It might. I don't know if it's going to be thinking outside the pod, but it maybe my
Maybe like a
my
little
stuff.
side thing.
Yeah,
We'll just
a
throw
little
up a different graphic and stuff. It'll be part of the same channel, I suppose, just different.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Segment.
I mean, that's way in the future. Or I mean, since it's kind of new, I mean, I might want to start looking into it quickly.
It's not hard to do.
No, yeah, it's
I can
just
already, I already know how to get all the pieces to do that already.
Mm-hmm.
It's not complicated at all.
yeah, and especially with emulators and stuff like that. That's all easy stuff nowadays. But yeah, so I mean, YouTube gaming. It's kind of like the biggest. I guess it's something to watch at least. I mean, to see
I
what's
may
going
poke
to
my head
happen.
around there soon here. I just haven't yet because really the only thing that I've heard about it since it's launched was that they had some issues with their automatic copyright thing, and it was
Oh, with the
like
music,
Kotaku had posted up a video of just showing a couple of Mario Maker levels,
Mhm.
and then they got a copyright infringement flag. Oddly enough, from a Playboy video, and it was because they played the same level. And, and it was one of the levels where you just don't touch the remote. And so it was the exact same video. And so the YouTube copyright thing automatically went, well, wait, these guys are playing the exact same video.
Mm-hmm.
And oddly enough, the Kotaku video was posted first.
Yeah.
But the Playboy one took precedent over it for some strange reason. But
Yeah.
luckily they just kind of, Playboy was real quick like, okay, they'll just, we're like, oh, whoops, we didn't do that. That was the automatic system, and they real quickly said, "Okay, here, have your video, Kotaku." They're like, "Go ahead and have it back."
That's kind of that's annoying.
So
But,
that's
I
gonna
mean,
be-
that's
Twitch does it a little bit.
Or you were saying a while ago on a different episode that a lot of like they switched the policy. Was that Twitch or YouTube?
Twitch did it
Twitch did
also, and they did it with copyrighted music.
Yeah.
And like YouTube does it too. I mean, it's one of those.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's doing it.
Mhm.
So you gotta be real careful with music you play in those, because if you play copyrighted music and the system detects it, I think like nowadays it just shuts off your audio.
Yeah,
Sometimes it
that's-
may stop. It depends on how I think bad it is.
Uh-huh.
It'll
Or
may
like
shut
how
off your
many
stream.
flags you already got or something.
Something
maybe.
like that. I mean, I can tell you the exact rules on it. I haven't looked them up. But
That's really strange because I mean it's gaming. I mean it's gonna like even well like if you play radio music, like if you're playing like music from the radio, of course I think that's where it could maybe be an issue.
Yeah.
But if you're playing through the game and you're like listening to the game music,
well, the
is
issue.
that still the same thing?
Sure.
Oy.
Like
That's
especially like
weird to
Grand
me.
Theft Auto and stuff like that, where they have copyrighted music. Sure.
Mhm.
Well, because the issue is where the problem lies is that they're letting a robot do it, and so the robot, all it knows is
I recognize
I'm
these
listening. I
notes.
recognize these notes. It is something that is in my program to stop audio, so therefore I stop audio. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's not it's not one of it. I mean, and then there may be certain priorities for certain YouTubers, blah blah blah. Certain people may get
yeah.
special priorities and stuff, but
Yeah,
knows,
That's kind of strange. I mean, I guess I'd have to. Yeah, well, I would have to think about it because, well, I mean, a lot of the older games, still have copyrighted music. I would assume. I don't know exactly, but I'd have to.
Generally, I don't see a lot of issue with older games.
Yeah,
it's
it might be.
mostly current games with like popular music in them and
Yeah.
stuff. That's usually the ones that I hear that get flagged the most. Like if it's just some random ass
I mean-
Japanese game, they're gonna be like, we don't.
Yeah,
care.
it's,
It's like who cares?
And it's probably just like synthesized chip tune, 8-bit sounds anyway on the old games.
Yeah.
A lot of it. So, well, I'll have to see if I end up doing it.
We'll
See.
find out. We will test it. We will stream for 24 hours, see what happens.
If you hear that I've gone to jail for playing Atari basketball and for streaming the Atari basketball soundtrack, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do anything wrong. I'm sorry for the copyright holders. It's my fault.
It's like, no, I'm not. But still, I have to say so for the camera, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah. It will be my fake celebrity apology. But yeah. So I don't know. Something to watch. I will probably. It sound like, especially if it's new, it's gonna change
We'll
and
see.
whatnot. So
Yeah, I mean, it may be a competitor, but you never know because Google Plus or whatever, that's been sinking hard. So it may go the same way as Google Plus. Maybe hey, I'm here. I'm trying to be cool.
yeah.
All right, now we have to shove it down your throat because nobody actually wants this thing. It's like,
Yeah.
we'll see
so
what happens.
they'll be like, oops. Well, I'm sorry. We tried. We experiment. We're rich. We can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we'll see. Other things, I guess, some video game movies have been either announced or like shown like images.
Yeah, there's
from.
a couple that are looking kind of interesting, but it's always that issue of it's a video game movie.
It is a video game movie. So Assassin's Creed just showed its first image of Michael Fassbender as the character. And the Assassin's Creed, they had like the white robes thing and then the knives on their wrists.
Yeah.
So it just shows that. It just shows
Cliche. We've seen it 400, in all Assassin's
all
Creed.
the games, yeah. But it showed him, and it looks fine. It's what I
It
would
looks
expect.
like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it's what I expect. It's just an image. But Assassin's Creed, how do you think that'll do as a movie? I mean, I know kind of the basic plot. They use like DNA to go back in time or DNA memories or something weird.
It depends on what type of story they go for.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of the weird thing. Because I played 1 through 4. So I played all of them, including like the 2.3, 2.4, or whatever. Played all those. It depends. If they try to do some sort of hybrid where they go, like they do the DNA and go into the past and stuff and the current stuff, I think it's going to be weird as hell.
Yeah. What's the current stuff? What is it?
Well, it's one of those if they have like current day, like I think like even a couple of years in the future or whatever, where they actually get into a machine,
Okay.
and then they go through the DNA and then they play as your ancestors.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the weird story of you're like, wait, I'm not actually controlling their ancestor. It's reliving their lives through
Okay.
what is the word?
Machine.
Like several generations down.
Okay.
You're playing as your ancestor
I
instead
see.
of, and then there's a whole bunch of weird crap of they're trying to find pieces to stuff to control the world, blah blah blah, like weird random shit that you're like, what the hell's going on? I just want to kill people. It's so weird because it just felt so tacked on. Like if they would have taken out the sci-fi stuff and just had just the Assassin's game and then just ended it with that, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But the story was weird because you're just like, why? I just want to keep stabbing people. That's all I want to do. That's why I'm playing this game.
Yeah. When I get that. I love story in games. Like that's one of my favorite things. But yeah, when it's weird, like when they try to go too weird about it, I guess that's gonna be an issue.
No.
But yeah. So yeah, Assassin's Creed.
I don't know. I mean, and to be quite honest, what I remember from story, it's like I'm surprised they're making a movie out of it. I don't think they're. Maybe it might be an okay movie. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing.
Like a ton of games, though, right?
Yeah. Well,
there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a bunch. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of see that a bunch. Like I have the video game movie list here. A lot of them I'm just like, why is like, especially like whenever like Assassin's, because the recent ones haven't done too well, have they? Like the recent games, Assassin's Creed games.
Well, the reason for that wasn't necessarily that the game was unpopular. It was just the most recent one, Unity. It was just a huge mess of bugs on launch. It was really bad. Like it was one of those of it was part of the reasons why now Steam has refunds. It's definitely one of them. It's for just developers are starting to get lazy and they're putting out games with bugs and stuff in it because they're like, oh, we got to meet our release date so we get our prime sales time and then we'll go back and we'll fix whatever shit we messed up.
Yeah.
Which is not good. It's getting really bad because you saw that. So that came out last year, and then this year we had Arkham Knight, and so it's just like you're like, come on guys, it's definitely making people second guess buying games on release because it's like, well, it's going to be a buggy mess for first month, I don't want to pay $60 for a game that's going to be a buggy mess that I can't play for a month until they fix it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I don't see why video game. I mean, I wish video game movies did better, but like throughout like all video game movies, none of them have done well. Like it's like there's not one that's gotten like great reviews.
Well, the biggest thing that I remember seeing on several YouTube videos was kind of the reason for that is because it's different type of media. You've got, because video games are supposed to be interactive. You're supposed to get sucked into the story. You're supposed to get drawn into it because you're interacting with characters. You're choosing where to go, what to do. It depends on what type of game you're playing. But usually you get a little bit more involved.
Yeah.
Where in a movie, it's a completely passive experience.
Standalone. It does what it needs to do.
You don't get sucked in. You're trying to watch the story as a whole. Where it's a completely different experience. And trying to tell a story that a video game can tell from a passive side, it's just not as entertaining.
Yeah, I agree with that
and
completely.
That's when you start to see a lot of the flaws in the story where you don't notice because you're like, ooh, Assassin's Creed, I get to kill people, and you're like, wait, this story doesn't make any sense,
The story sucks.
So you're like, but then when you're like, the story's confusing, and you're like, oh great, I get to go back to stabby now. It's like you get distracted.
Yeah,
from weirdness
you
and
break
story.
off from the quest and start like researching the world for like useless items.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, you're like, okay, let me go do, random fetch quests and stuff, and you're like, okay, now I'm distracted again from the weirdness of the story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would think that's common sense to me. Like it's a completely different experience. I guess what the filmmakers are thinking is that, hey, this franchise has a built-in audience. They'll 100% go see this movie.
Well, of course.
But I mean, if you look back, like, no, they won't. like or they will, but just like a small majority of them will. Like the Hitman movie and the recent one. Hitman, I assume is still pretty popular. I mean, they're still making them.
There's definitely a following.
And I know there's like controversy a lot of times whenever it comes out too. So the filmmakers are like, why aren't these movies doing well? It's like,
well, because it's one of those of
it's a different experience.
The biggest thing is it's a different experience, and it's so hard to create a true to the source material when you're going cross medium. It's so hard to do it. Because really, from what I've seen, is the ones that I've been entertained by most are usually the ones where they do like animation as opposed to live action. Because live action is extremely hard because then you have to rely really heavily on special effects and that kind of stuff. And it's just my issue is they try to make it too real. Like it's so hard to create a video game world. Because like I know we've brought this up several times, but I think the best video game looking movie was Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah.
I thought the look and feel of it was perfect.
Well, because they weren't taking themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
A lot of these movies, they try to go realistic whenever like the game obviously is not realistic. Like there's magic in most of these, or there's extreme abilities that people have that aren't really something that you can make look realistic because it's weird. But I mean, I guess these days with like superhero movies, that's getting a little bit easier to swallow that type of stuff. So maybe some of the movies that they did back then could have done better nowadays, but they just tried too early before technology could actually do it.
Yeah.
And things like that. But
well, I mean, when you think of it, though, I mean, like you look at some of the stuff that like Squaresoft or now Square Enix and like Blizzard and stuff, they've been putting out fantastic CG for years. I mean, you look back at like Final Fantasy 7 and 8, and you still look at some of the CG cutscenes that they had. And, that was back on the PlayStation. You're like, holy shit, these guys were making this, back in like early 2000s, late 90s. You're like, damn. And you look at their current stuff, and you're like, holy shit, they are making some great graphics. And I'm surprised they don't do more of that. It's like just do the in-game cutscenes
as a
make
movie.
it into a movie.
As a movie, yeah. No, I agree, and I think Warcraft. They're making a movie.
Yes, and I saw a couple of screenshots from it. I think they had like a little mini trailer thing or whatever, and it looked interesting.
And it's CG. It's well, at least what we've seen is CG. I hope they don't do a weird mix of it.
Well, if they do a little bit of a mix, if they're gonna have to do crazy saturation, kind of like 300 style, to kind of make it look, kind of a little bit faded in between fake and real.
Yeah, so I don't know. Video game movies, I mean, I wish they did better because I like video games.
Yeah.
But there's not been one I've wanted to see like at all. Like let's see the recent one, Agent 47.
Yeah.
Those the problem really I have with those is because I don't care about the character. Like
Well,
he's like a robot. He's like they're
what I
supposed to
read
be
about-
emotionless.
When I read about it, yeah, it was kind of weird. Like it sounded like they made it like into an action movie, which it's like that's
Not
it's a stealth assassin game. You
Yeah.
know, it's like it's not an action game. You
Yeah.
can play it like that, but if you do, you did something wrong. You know?
That's usually like the last resort. You're like, oh well, they saw me. Now I got to go kill
yeah,
them.
you're not. You know, the game is designed to really to punish you for just going around shooting people. You're not supposed to do that. You know, and it's just like when they made. You know, when I was reading up on the movie, you're like, why is he driving on top of roofs and stuff like that? You're like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't sound like Hitman to me.
Yeah, that's the wrong game. Why is this that? But yeah, so I don't know. It's that and Borderlands got announced that they're making a Borderlands movie, and it's supposedly a tentpole, so they're going to be pumping a lot of money into it.
See, now Borderlands could actually make it's one of those of if they distance itself from the game and make a completely new story.
Yeah,
That could be cool because that's something you could do something like a Star Wars or like you could do kind of a like just
something set in
anything.
that world.
I mean, you can just do the world, and that's actually a pretty interesting world because like Telltale's the guys who do a lot of the adventure, the point and click games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing a Borderlands game, and it's been getting pretty decent reviews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely that could potentially be an interesting world. It
Mm-hmm.
just depends on how they do it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I've always liked the like post-apocalyptic wasteland type movies. So
Yeah.
so if
And what's not, oh, sorry, go ahead.
and I've always heard the games are like funny. So if they do it, if they don't take it too seriously, like it's not just like a guy in a desert. It's like, oh, this is Borderlands, and they try to go super serious.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that. But if they put humor into it and they made it like they had the little robot guy
have to. I
making
mean,
witty things or something.
There's got to be suicide midgets and stuff like that. There's got to be all sorts of
gotta go
stuff. There's got to
be
be
crazy.
a claptrap in some way. I mean, there's got to be a bunch of stuff. Like it could potentially, like I said, if they separate it from the main movie and do a completely original story.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you could do whatever the hell you want, you know, and it would be interesting. You have to tie it enough with the games just so you can kind of recognize that it's them. But you know.
Yeah, I mean, you'd
We'll
still
see.
have like the guy in the hockey mask as like one of the people you see, like one of the baddies. You'd see those people, things like that. But yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully it does well. I mean, their Lionsgate I think is making it or something like that,
Yeah.
and they're pumping a lot of movies. They're making it like it's one of their big movies of the year or whenever it comes out.
So I mean, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, that could be potentially interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? You know, I mean, I know they're making another Resident Evil movie, like the sixth one or something like that, which I couldn't believe that they're still making them.
Yeah.
Like, who's watching these movies?
Someone I guess.
saw, I think, the first one, maybe the second and third, but that was about it. Like when I saw Kung Fu fighting between like Nemesis and whoever their random Resident Evil character was, I'm like, all right, done. I'm like, this is officially stupid. I'm like, why is she running down the side of a building? This isn't Resident Evil anymore. I'm like, what is this?
The only thing I could think of is like for those kind of movies, maybe they do well overseas or something.
Maybe.
Like where like those like action movies always do well. Like those
Sure.
brainless like popcorn action movies, they always do well overseas.
Well, they do well over here
yeah.
too. It just depends on what your source material is.
Yeah, it depends. But yeah, so that I could see. I guess they're watching it, so they're like, yeah, there's some money somewhere that we can make back on.
Yeah.
So
Milk out.
exactly. Let's see any other movies? Not really. I mean, Galaxy Quest is going to become a TV show. We were looking up 16 years after the movie.
Yeah, that's a random ass thing to bring back up. Yeah, I mean, because we did confirm it was the Tim Allen movie. And then
Yeah, Tim Allen.
there's the other guy, with
Alan
like the
Rickman.
Yeah, Alan Rickman. That's
Uh-huh.
it. Yeah, he was in there too.
Sigourney Weaver. I mean, it's. I really like the movie. Like it was a
cool movie.
and it still holds up. I've watched it like fairly recently.
It's been
It is
a
cool
while.
movie.
It's a good satire of like the Star Trek
Yeah.
series, like this old sci-fi things, and I'm kind of excited, but then again,
We don't know.
it's a reboot, so
They're gonna
there's
fuck it up.
it's possible.
They're gonna
Like,
fuck it up.
well, who knows?
because I don't think. I mean, I didn't read too much into the article, but I don't think they'd have the same character, like the same people. Because I mean, Alan Rickman is like freaking Severus Snape.
Yeah.
He's not the actor he was back then, and I mean, even back then they were like, "What is he doing in this movie?" He's like a classically trained British actor.
It's interesting. You never know. I mean, he who knows? He may be up for it. You never know. Until you ask.
I mean, Tim Allen hasn't done really anything big. I mean, he's done some
couple movies,
but I don't think they've done too well. Sigourney Weaver, I don't know what she's been doing. She was in Avatar.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else. She's probably been in a few other things. She's still big. So I don't know. It's kind of weird to go, like, and they're all like movie stars, so it's kind of weird to go to TV. That's usually like a downgrade for most actors. So I don't know. They'll probably recast them
They're
or
already all
something.
B-list. You know what I mean? How many of them are still making big ones? You think maybe Sigourney Weaver would be the only one?
I mean, Alan Rickman. I don't know what he's done recently, but
Rickman is which one?
he was the guy. Yeah, he was by Gripthar's hammer.
yeah.
I will avenge you.
Yeah, dude. I haven't seen him in anything, but he is.
He did Severus Snape. He was in
Yeah,
Harry
he was in
Potter.
Harry
He was on
Potter.
all Harry Potters.
Oh yeah.
And he was in. Well, that's the biggest one I can think of recently. But he was also in like, what's it called? Dogma.
So him and Sigourney Weaver might not do it.
Yeah. So
But
I
I
don't
could
know.
see Tim Allen
Tim
going
Allen.
back
I think
to TV.
he went back to. I think he's in like Last Man Standing or something
Yeah, he
like
was
that.
in some show for a
some
I
little
think he
sitcom.
should come back to it. I think that they should try to get them all in there.
I do.
And if they don't get those two, at least like recast just what you need. Try to keep like some of the main characters.
I mean, some of the side characters, like the navigator guy, I don't know who he is. So
He'll probably be in there.
He can be in it. Because, well, I mean, he could be doing stuff.
What was his like slogan or his saying?
Pedal to the metal, Captain,
Yeah.
or something like that. Or something. I'm telling you, that's one of the
Pedal
movies,
to the metal, Captain.
or something like that. It's one of those movies that I can just rewatch whenever, just because it holds
It's
up.
a cool movie, yeah, dude.
And then what's that other guy's name? I can't remember. But yeah, so it's a cool story. I like it because it's paying homage to the Star Trek type TV shows back then.
Sure.
So I've always liked it, and that's how you do. I've always said that's one of my favorite like parodies or satires of a genre, because it just did it without making fun of like scary movie, like those films, like the scary movies. They are just so dumb. They're just like, this is like they make fun of the scary movies, and they're not like it's not like a love, like I can see Galaxy Quest being like a love letter to those science fiction TV shows.
Here's just some of the stupid things we notice, and we're just gonna make
It's
a
like-
little bit of fun of them. We still it's not like we hate this genre.
Yeah, it's saying like, yes, there's some, like, obviously and we know that those things you did were
weird,
weird,
stupid,
and
yeah.
this is us kind of and paying homage to it. But like Scary Movie is like the worst. Like they just throw in like these dumb jokes over and over again, and they it's just parodies. Like, yes, and now everyone, like, we'll have an exorcism thing, but now everyone's throwing up, and it's disgusting and it's gross.
Yeah.
So I like that world, and I like the story of Galaxy Quest. So who knows? I mean, it depends on how they do it. I assume because at the end of the movie, they did like Galaxy Quest, the quest continues or whatever it was, and they kept going, like they were in space actually doing adventures for a TV show. So maybe it's going to be doing something like that.
I mean, that'd be an interesting little tie. I feel like this is the show that they made after the movie.
Yeah, I mean that could be what they do.
See, my question though is, who is this for? Who's gonna actually really remember it?
That's
you know?
the other
You're
thing.
like-
I mean, it was 16 years ago.
Yeah,
So
it's like-
I mean, it's
I
like
I barely remember it, and it's been so long since I've seen it.
yeah. So it was 99. I'm trying to think. How old was I in 99? 10 years old.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was. So yeah. So everyone that's like was around that, like teenage, lower than teenage for me, but like teenagers are all like old now. So they may have kids that might like it now, but I don't
who
even
knows?
think it's like, it's not a kiddie thing. It's for people that used to watch Star Trek. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
weird. I don't know.
Who knows? We'll see
But
what
that's
happens.
that's the same thing with like that Pixels movie.
Yeah.
Like who was that for? I mean, that was for.
Pixels they said that it was a crazy movie.
It was.
Did you like it?
It wasn't as bad as a lot of people painted it out to be, but I also understand like I see no appeal for anybody. Like they
Yeah.
like it's the people that like those games don't want to watch an Adam Sandler movie, and the people that are dumb enough to see an Adam Sandler movie don't care about old Nintendo or old video games. So.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like who's this going to be made for? And that's the thing with all these reboots and stuff. It's like I don't understand it a lot of the times. I'm all for movies. I mean, I like movies of all types, so I like that they keep making movies, but I wish that they stop making these like
movies.
bad movies or like or I don't know what it is because I'm kind of conflicted on the whole thing. I don't know.
Jeez. Well,
But we'll see. I mean, those movies are going to be made, so we'll see how that works out. Let's see. We're going on about 40 minutes. Yeah, we still got some time.
a little bit of time. Yeah.
I guess the other thing that I wanted to talk about is fantasy football. I mean, I guess
boy, here we go again.
jock nerd thing. That's still nerdy. I say.
still know nothing about this. I didn't know anything last year when this happened. I still know nothing about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, fantasy football. I mean, the football season is about to start, so a lot of players and leagues are starting their drafts. So they're picking their players. They're picking
Which is a bad idea because there's already people that have gotten hurt this week that are out for the season now that people have probably drafted. You know
yeah.
what I
Our
mean?
season has started with a bunch of controversy.
Yeah, man. The
like-
commissioner's colluding with
himself.
with somebody to screw everyone else over.
But
Jared is offset that we should just redraft.
I was, because they changed like the scoring thing, so it kind of it changed a lot of things. So, but yeah, it's like people building their decks right now.
Oh yeah.
That's essentially
I
what
mean,
it is. Yeah.
I understand the basics of it.
Mm.
It's just the actual, doing it and looking at stuff. I'm like, no, I don't want to go through all that.
Yeah,
You know?
it's me neither. I'm not much of a sports person, but Yahoo does a lot of the work. like they tell me what to do. Like that's pretty much it. Like I knew kind of the basic of what I wanted to get, and then it just told me like there's the
This guy,
person
pick
that's
this guy.
yeah, this guy has this rank and this guy has the lower rank, so get that guy. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Good enough.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Yahoo.
Thanks, Yahoo. And it worked out okay. I mean, I got like the middle of the pack draft, which is fine. I won last year.
Middle of the pack draft.
Last
You're
year you had
barely
one
was
of the
middle
top-
of the pack
Well, yeah,
Draft,
last
so-
year I had a top
Oh.
draft. This year I got middle of the
Izzy's got
pack.
it.
Yeah,
But he's got two auto picks with Adrian Peterson and Calvin Johnson, so he
Yeah.
lucked out with those two.
yeah. I don't.
Usually auto pick is like, oh yeah, take a kicker number one,
Well, I don't know because the way auto pick works at least this year was it just picks the top person, like whatever.
Whoever's
Whenever
up there.
at your draft position, whatever that guy is, it just picks that guy.
Right
so
off the top.
it just worked. It works out for like the first couple drafts, I think, but then later on it gets bad. So maybe that's
Oh,
probably what
yes.
happened. So I got like that. So I'm looking at like fifth place or sixth place. Like as long as I have a winning record, I call it a success because
Fifth place last season. You know how shitty that is?
that's not. I got it.
F5.
I went from the top to like the middle.
At the year before last, I got last place in the draft or last place
You
in
went
the
from
league.
top to bottom.
And then I got top to bottom. So as long as I'm in the
or
middle,
bottom to top.
I want to be in the middle or above. That's what my goal is. But I'm kind of looking at it now. I'm just like I don't know anything about these players. Like I didn't know anybody because I didn't do any mock drafts or I didn't do any research.
Dude, this draft did not go like any of the mock drafts I planned. Like everything I'd planned to do just totally got thrown out the window, and I ended up like because I had the second to the last pick, so that kind of like ruined everything. First off,
Yeah, that's kind of that's.
but I had like
but,
the top one, second pick in the second round,
Yeah.
so I ended up with two pretty good players still in those spots.
yeah, those that's the kind of thing. It because what it is draft position. It kind of is like a reverse snake.
Yeah.
Like you get if you're like first person in the draft, the next round you're last.
Okay.
So it just revolves like that.
So whoever's in the middle is always in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I was in the middle. That usually in the middle is like the could be like the best place to be,
Sure.
just because you have a lot of time before your next pick and you can plan it out.
Yeah.
If you're like at the top or the bottom, there's will be a time where you're like your pick, and then you have like another pick like one round later.
Yeah.
So you have to like hurry up and pick. But sometimes that's good because then you get two good players like without having time between it. So
Yeah.
the whole draft position is kind of a weird thing. But it's just like the picking your team. Picking like in League of Legends, like in that like player select screen.
Okay.
It's pretty much like that.
Well, but do you ban players?
Well, there are players that are injured and stuff. I mean,
can you say no? We can pick.
no, not really. You can pick anybody you want.
Well, then it's not like League of Legends.
Jared almost got locked out because he didn't have the app on his phone.
Yeah, so it's definitely it's not. There's similarities between it and League of Legends. Like there's players that have better stats and different. They're
Last
better.
year, Danny's team sucked.
They're better at different positions than other people, so you want them. I don't know. It's gaming for jocks, essentially. It's for the jocks that don't want to.
They call us nerds for watching League of Legends. Like, look at the shit you're doing. It's no different.
Exactly.
They're not running around with capes and magic, at least for sure.
Yeah, but they're running around with
tights and helmets.
primary
I know,
colors and pads and helmets and stuff. So it's the same thing. There's differences, but it's the same thing. There's
just a lot cooler. You know,
it's a lot more.
debatable.
It's a lot more accepted, I guess, or it's a lot more mainstream. Like this is
I'll say that.
You guys are like the Republicans, and we're like the punks. That's essentially.
You know,
what
it's
we are.
interesting. I wonder, because
Yep.
I'm
know.
kind of curious
That's what you are.
nowadays if more people are watching video games than they're watching football. So it's like, which more mainstream then? You know, what happens
Yeah.
when more people are watching video games?
Well, I mean,
Well,
It's like
when,
you football
when video
nerds.
games is being shown on national television, then
it
we
has
can
been.
talk about it.
They already
It is.
have.
Every weekend,
Not every
on
weekend.
3 months a year.
But why does it matter? They show it every day on the internet.
Well, I'm just asking.
don't
It's
show
just
football.
it's a question, a debatable question,
See,
right? You were talking
do they
about
play football
debatable
every
stuff.
day? And do they
Yeah.
broadcast it?
They
Every
yes.
single day of the year.
No, so that's
So
what
there
makes
you
it
go.
more special than
Video
video
games,
gaming.
they-
That's what makes it more special
What?
than video gaming.
Oh, that's bullshit.
It's the
No, that-
uniqueness of each individual season. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain
Well,
They
season
have that
a
in
year.
the
No.
video games too.
Video gaming is
I-
just so general.
I
that
think-
it kind of dilutes it a little
I
bit.
think football would do that if they could. Like if they could broadcast 24/7, they would definitely do it.
Well, they
But
have their own channel. I mean, you granted get even that. You know what I mean?
we'll
But-
see. So there's something football you can watch.
So yeah,
every
you
day.
can watch
But-
that
But you're
every
watching
day.
old
But
But I'm
games.
saying if the NFL could like just do it all the time, I think they would definitely do that if they could not leave that money on the table. But
if they could have like robot players, then it would be year round.
See?
Then gaming would be
yeah, so it's
like it'd be
it's-
the same thing as gaming at
it's
that
just,
point.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it'd be better because robots are better.
No, come on. That's what makes it interesting, the human element. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
if not,
like-
then you can just pick stats and say who's going to win.
Well, that's
you
like the
know?
thing I've heard with wrestling. Like, the reason why people still watch wrestling is not because of the wrestling; it's because of the backstories
theatrics.
and the
Yeah.
and the rivalries.
'Cause
And
it's
stuff
kind of
like
like a soap opera.
It's like
for
a
dudes,
soap
you
opera.
know?
Well,
so
then you look at
so
the
that's
fighting.
what you like about football.
No, I don't.
You
I
like
like
the human element of it.
Yeah, the human element being that you can you can piss somebody off. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If we're playing against each other, you can piss me off. Now all of a sudden, I'm gonna go out of my way to run all over you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, you've
If
never-
with the video games, it's like a Madden simulation. Let's use that for example.
See, you've never played
for-
competitive video
For
games.
for
then.
an example, yeah, no, I have, and I've won some money doing it.
People get so pissed off in those
yes,
games.
like
I've seen
I
people
said.
way more pissed off than
Like I
football
said,
ever could get.
I've done the Madden, dude, a few years back, and I won a couple bucks doing it. I
Yeah.
won 500 here, and then I won 300 here, and won 500 in Houston playing
Yeah.
competitively. So I mean, I do got a little background into this stuff, and that's what I'm saying about it.
Mhm.
Now, the point being is that you can run simulations of the game on the Madden,
Mhm.
and it'll give you what they think statistically should happen,
Mhm.
which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is what that's cool. But the whole reason you play the game is because what if? You know what I'm saying? What if? And that's the human element. That's the
Mhm.
part that I appreciate.
Well,
Not the fact that it is cool as hell that I play Madden because I love video games too.
Mhm.
You can simulate the stuff out of it,
Mhm.
but what if my finger slips off a button when I'm going to make a move? What if I hit the wrong button?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Or what if there's a catch that that my guy is better prepared to get into just because I'm playing the game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes.
And I think that's the reason why that I think certain things is you can compare, but I mean you can compare it all day, but it is still kind of different. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's like watching a movie. I mean, the thing with I don't know, it's the gaming. I don't know. It's two different things we're kind of comparing. I see your point.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
but I'm just saying, watching.
They are similar to a point, but to a certain extent, it's like playing the actual game. There's so much more that can happen on the football field than just my button slipping off my finger, slipping off a button.
Yeah,
or hitting the wrong button. The wind could pick up. You know what I'm saying? The sun could get in my eyes.
There is a video that was talking about Major League Soccer and soccer video games. It's like what you said. It's like the games can only do what they're programmed to do.
Yeah.
And the games,
there's a
lot more variables.
The variables, yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to say in a nutshell. There's just a lot of stuff that the game can't, put in there. It can only put a certain number of things, whatever people have put in there.
But I would say playing Madden, for me, is better than watching football.
Shit, yes. Playing football, for me, I would rather play football or play Madden. Watching it is cool, but honestly, I was only a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'd only watch the Dallas Cowboys or like the Spurs. Other games, other football games I could give or take. You know what I'm saying? But now that fantasy football's around, it's like I get into all the teams that I have players on. Yeah. Still could not give a shit about some of the other ones. But I mean, it makes it look like Juan said when I started. He goes, it'll make watching football a little more fun, and it kind of did. It kind of does that.
I mean, it's forced me to. Well, not forced me.
I guess it's like Fisher. He plays League of Legends, and when he watches it, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the same shit.
Yeah,
I guess it is kind of similar.
Yeah, it's.
Well, it's just nowadays. It's just that I don't think necessarily. There's always going to be differences because it's two different types of media. It's the same thing we were talking about earlier. It's like, they're completely different things. But I think the line is starting to blur. They're starting to become more and more similar as we go along because of the way you can, because now it's being more broadcasted. That's when it's starting to kind of blur a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I think we said before, if gaming could come up to with an organization and kind of take the template of some of the NBA or hockey or NFL and use that kind of template to start getting sponsors involved, start giving ownership to certain sections of the nation.
So as we said this before, they already have that.
It's a lot. It's a
That's
lot
actually
more
real
now.
already.
Well, what is it?
They have
MLG.
They have
MLG?
Major League Gaming. They've got the LCS, which is
there's a couple different.
Yeah, I mean, they've
kind
totally,
of like arena football and different football.
They've totally got different
football.
tournaments. They've got different levels of tournaments. They've got a minor league and a major league. I mean, they've
minors and majors.
This is all stuff that's already around. I mean, there's slight differences because of the difference in medium. We don't have there's not a commission or anything like that. There's it's kind of run by whoever runs the tournament. But there's totally this already exists.
Yeah, there was a tournament where the winners won winning team won $6 million. The winning, so each, and there was a 6-person team or something like that. So they became millionaires for just playing this tournament. So
I mean, to be able to play games for money.
I mean, and yeah, exactly. That's the thing, and it's like sporting events, like golfers, they make millions for winning and even not winning and things like that. Yeah. So I mean, it's getting to that point, and all the teams have their own sponsors. So there's game controllers or certain game publishers or something I don't know how.
Samsung has a couple teams. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. What you were saying about Squaresoft,
some major
Square
sponsors,
Enix or whatever.
Like how Papa John's has
Camcom,
Peyton Manning.
They've got that, but it's mostly video game peripherals and stuff like Razer. You see a lot of Razer ads. You see, depending on. They've got particular type of monitors and stuff.
Or graphics cards and stuff like that. And that's business. That's marketing. That's advertising.
It is nowadays. I mean, because Dota 2 had a tournament a month or two ago where the winning team got $6 million.
We just
split amongst 5 people. So I mean, it's it is a competitive sport
It's
in a way.
like go buy a house with like a giant room with one TV screen and put a projector on it and just sit there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's more or less what these teams do. Is
That's
they
them
go, they
with like
go
a-
to
that's them practicing.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, that's what I would do all day, and like with a projector and like a video camera recording everything.
Well, I mean and they're like streaming.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
stream
They
and they
stream while
make
they
money on
practice.
that. So I mean they're
because they
it's
stream in
go
between
back to your
practice
archives
sessions or
and
whatever. So.
watch footage of you playing games so that you can
Yeah.
better.
I mean, no, I
equip
mean,
yourself.
there's they
like
they
watching
have,
tape in football. You know.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
it's-
mean, what they do is their teams they go buy a house somewhere. Or whoever is funding them, whoever's sponsoring them, will buy them a house, and they all live in a house, and they get paid for food and stuff, and they practice, and that's all
Man,
they do.
I would have
Play
loved to
video
have
games.
had that gig, dude. I'll
Well,
tell you
I
what.
mean,
Oh,
it's-
it's one
you
of
can
those.
still do
of
it.
When you do something that you have a passion for, there's a difference between doing it for fun and then doing it for a living. When you have to do it for a living, to me, it ruins the fun of it.
Yeah,
And you're like, now I
does.
have to do it. I don't have a choice. I have to do a specific way. I
Yeah,
can't
but I'll tell you what, $1 million, I won't be having that argument with myself. I'll be
Well,
like, come on.
that's the same argument of
But
like
imagine doing the same thing for 12 hours a day.
yeah.
for $1 million fucking dollars, Fisher.
Maybe.
but it won't
Maybe.
it won't be
Come
for
on.
$1 million.
Maybe.
Like
Well, I
$1
mean,
million.
yeah, but you know, I mean,
If you win.
if
Without-
you get that good, you know what I mean? Yeah,
well,
I
yeah,
guess. But-
that's the thing. That's the thing with all sports. Like the people at like the bottom of the ranks
Well,
for
'cause, like-
golfers aren't making what Tiger Woods is
yeah.
like.
Well,
I
mean,
don't
they're
know
probably
if that's
still,
a
they're
reference.
still making a living though.
They're
you know what I
making
mean?
they're
playing
they're
golf.
scraping by.
Playing
So that's
golf.
what you would be doing, like at the beginning.
Have you seen their clothes and like their racks? I mean, their
For
rackets.
the-
What do they call it? Their clubs and stuff. They're not cheap stuff. So
Well,
I'm
no.
sure they're still making pretty good cash.
They are, but the thing is, if you're starting
Who
off
says
on
it's from playing
gaming,
golf though.
yeah.
Oh, well, I mean,
could
just
have
for an
another job.
example, you know what I mean? Like anything.
but
I
like
guess, as for
you're
anything.
if you're streaming, like if you want to be a good streamer and stuff, you got to be like on all the time. Like there's that
Yeah.
one house that we talked about a while ago that like has like a group of people that stream 24 hours a day.
Just like take
They take 8-hour shifts, and it's like their job, and they make barely enough to pay rent and like for like bills and stuff. So they're just like they're living paycheck
Well,
to
I'm
paycheck as well.
Living
so
paycheck to paycheck. So I'd rather be in my house playing video games than
It's-
sitting here with
Well,
you
you got-
guys.
that's-
it's the same thing though. It's
See,
just
the issue though is with that. There's a lot of people trying to do that. So there's
Oh, yeah.
you gotta,
That's-
you gotta
Oh,
somehow
yeah.
stand out.
There's a lot of
amongst the
people that have
crowd.
already established
Because
themselves.
just
in that.
just to make a living doing there's millions of people,
Hopefully,
millions and millions and millions of people all trying to do that. So unless you can find something,
So what's the big why do people do that? Why do they make these videos? What's the turn on going on and watching it? You know what I mean?
it's just something that people like.
Well,
it's
for
it's
some
the same
people-
thing why you watch football. It's people like watching video games.
it's like watching a TV show. Why do you watch a sitcom about people living their lives? Why do people watch Friends? Why was Friends popular? Because it was funny. I don't know. It's who knows. It's
Yeah.
I never
different
really
tastes.
watch Friends, but
Well,
I
but like
I
the
watch
league-
TV, like
the league.
Well, that's
Like
Married with Children was the last time that I actually sat in front of a television, put it on, and like watched something consistently.
It's the same thing. It's
You
like
know? Now
whatever,
it is Netflix.
whatever
it's
that
something
reason
different.
that makes you want to click on that movie or click on that TV
Just
show
to
on
kill
Netflix.
time,
Because
I
for me,
guess.
the
Yeah,
stuff
kill
that
time,
I
and it's
watch,
entertaining. It's entertaining, killing time.
The stuff that I watch is edited stuff. Like they'll do like a play session and then they'll edit. They'll edit out certain parts. Like they'll do scenarios and stuff like that. So it's not just like occasionally I'll watch like a let's play, and that's usually because I want to see what the game is about, but I don't really want to play it. So
Yeah.
I'm like, let me just watch somebody else play it and then let them comment on it, depending on who it is.
It's
like
like
because Giant Bomb, they used to do a lot of really good let's plays and stuff, and then I used to watch them.
it's like us watching
And-
Sports Center. Is like the little edited videos that we watch. It's like us seeing the highlights, the funny parts, and the funny commentary. It's like us watching Sports Center. That's our Sports Center is
Yeah.
the video games, because there's certain channels we go to all the time because we like that personality or we like that group of people that run it, and just like you like, I don't know,
I watch Sports Center, but I mean, like I said, most of the time if it's on at my house or at the apartment, it's only to have background noise. I really don't sit there and like watch the entire thing. It cuts to like NASCAR or baseball or golf, and I like.
Well, yeah, but think
have it on in
of
the
if
background.
Sports Center was only the stuff you liked, like it was like just like 10 minutes or 5 minutes video of just exactly what you like. You'd watch it. That's what we're doing. They've cut out all the stuff that we don't like because it's just one person making the video or a group of people making the video. That's
I don't know, man. I just I don't know. It's not for me, I guess.
It's just
It's
it's
not
hard
for
to.
me.
Well, yeah, it's.
I'd
yeah,
rather
it's not for
sit and
everybody.
play the video game, than
Well,
watch
see,
somebody
also
play it.
part of the reason why I watch a lot of YouTube videos is I don't have the time to commit to all this stuff they do in the video. So
You can
I
watch-
watch
able
stuff
to
that
play.
I don't
You
have the time. I can't spend 30 hours in Minecraft building up to some of the crazy stuff they've
Yeah, you can.
edited.
Yeah,
Well,
you
when?
can.
When?
Yeah, you
I've
can.
got all-
Dude, I
like-
got two answers. Well, I got one answer for that, dude. Or I got one thing to say to that at least. When I was a kid, dude, I still went to school, but in between doing school, and all my chores around the house, I made time to play these video
Oh, well,
games.
yeah.
It might have taken me 3 months to get
But
to what I
still-
wanted to do, but that might have taken me 3 months for 30 hours.
But when you want to play,
But you know what I'm saying? So I mean,
Yeah.
if you wanted to, if you're watching the damn channel on it,
Well,
I assume you
can-
like it that
you can
much.
do that.
You know?
You can do that. You can watch the YouTube videos anywhere. So say he's going to school right now, like right before class, he's watching a video, like on his phone, whatever.
Why
or
not
wherever.
spend that time playing?
Because he can't. He's at school.
Because I don't have my computer. I can't drag my desktop computer to school and lug it
So
around
that's
campus.
kind of a downfall,
It's like
huh?
why watch Sports Center when you can just go play football?
Yeah,
Exactly. So why do people
so when
do
you're
that?
in the middle of a work, you're
because
like, oh, I want to.
football is not only on Sports Center. I don't know because it's got everything.
Yeah. So I mean, but why watch it or anything, fantasy football or anything, when you can just go play
Well,
it?
they're
It's because
highlights.
it's different.
They're highlights of something that's happened in history that might not happen again.
It's
That's
the
why.
same
thing with video games. It's like you
Yeah,
never
but
know.
like we talked about a second ago, being programmed to do certain much. I mean, unless it's a glitch, that's never going to happen again. I mean, you can do it again.
See, with the competitive
It-
stuff, though, like with the tournaments and stuff going on, there's been some really cool stuff. Like, there's been a lot of, it's like a lot of the stuff you only see once in a while. I mean, yeah, it's programmed to do certain
Okay,
things.
now
but
let
you
me
see
say
people
this.
do it in creative ways.
Exactly finding solutions for parts in the game creatively, creative different ways. That's kind of what I'm talking about again. That's going back to the. There's just so many scenarios that the game can give you. That's programmed to give you.
Well, when you think of it realistically
that's
in
kind
football,
of
there
like-
is technically only a fine. There's at the end of the day, there is a certain amount of thing, because it's like not everybody's going to get blasted by the sun. There's still a finite. There's rules involved, so
Yes.
there's still a finite number of things that can happen. So you're like, oh, you
But
can't
there's a
ever
lot
get
more
somebody clotheslining.
unexpected things. You know what I'm saying? Things that
You'd be
that-
surprised. You see, if you watch video game tournaments, you'd be surprised. Even though you say they're programmed, they still pull shit where you're like, whoa.
Oh,
they
well,
just
I'm
randomly
sure that like
broke
the way the roads are slick in Need for Speed video games. You know what
Or-
I'm saying? In the rain.
Well, that's not necessarily
Or
that. It's
stuff
just
like
like
that.
you have
Super-
like a convention and stuff, but then constantly these pro players are finding new ways to break those conventions and try something different. And you're like, whoa, I never thought of doing that in this game. You're like, it's still within the rules, but nobody ever thought to do it. And
Creative ways
and it's
to
constantly
find
changing.
solutions to problems in
And
the
plus,
game.
where you're saying with it being constant, they're constantly changing the rules. So then the games are constantly slowly changing. They'll change a couple of stats, and it'll completely change how
So
the game operates.
in other words, some of the play that these big names in these video games are doing could affect the way they put out the next video game of the series.
yeah,
Yeah. Or the next
Totally.
patch for sure.
it totally, because if they
So-
find something that's
so
easily exploitable,
interactively, yeah, that is kind of very cool because you're having some say into the next video game. But if you did that stuff in sports, it's not going to be the same sport eventually. You know what I mean?
and that's the thing. It's one of those. That's I think kind of what differentiates sports from video games is that video games are constantly evolving, where sports are really the same
It's kind
thing
of
over
set.
and over
Yeah,
again.
it's kind of set on what you're doing.
So
yeah.
I mean, it's one of those. I think that makes it a little bit more dynamic and interesting because it does.
That's
change
what I
from
said.
time to
That's
time.
what I think, but the opposite. That's what I think mine is more.
So you
dynamic
think watching
and
the same
interesting.
thing for years and years and years is entertaining?
Well, it does evolve, but not in the way is the sense that us as fans get to make the game change and make the game different. It's still the certain core values, you know what I mean, certain fundamentals that's going to make you a better player. Now, things like athleticism and stuff do have a part in it, you know what I mean? But the certain stuff I don't know. Let me think. How am I trying to explain it?
Well, it's you're saying
I enjoy
football's-
football for the same reasons you enjoy that, and but like the same thing
Oh,
you
sure.
said about the games, but on the other end.
Yeah, I understand. Because I do like sports. I mean, I do like sports and I like gaming, and I see how how similar it is. But a lot of people that have only done one part of that don't see that similarity. So I think that's what's happening
Well,
here.
I'm one of I
Well, I
like,
mean,
they're
I'm
both
all
fine.
about games.
I
I don't watch them on.
I don't necessarily
anything.
say is one is better. I just think the whole idea of sitting there saying, we can't broadcast sport or like video games because it's like it's not a traditional sport. Like that's kind of it's like it's more or less becoming.
No,
It's
but nobody's saying
sport.
that. We're saying
There's
that it just
a lot
hasn't
of people
been,
who said that.
It just hasn't been picked up by you're not watching it on
ESPN
CBS
2
right
showed
now.
it.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
ESPN2 showed it, and they had a shit fest over showing it. A lot of people complained about it. So
Why?
because they're
I mean,
Because
fuck it,
traditional-
they're showing
it's all
golf
traditional
right now.
sport.
They
Yeah.
show bowling. You know what I mean?
you say
Come
that,
on.
but a whole
We got
lot
the
of people,
poker championships. I mean, I'm sure watching League of Legends is a little more interesting than poker. You know,
See, it was one of those. Of
I'd rather
a lot-
watch paint dry.
It was that argument of a lot of people were saying, well, it's not
This
a
isn't-
traditional sports.
It needs
and
its own
crap like
dedicated
that.
channel. In other words, like the
Well,
Weather
they-
Channel, they
and
gave
that's the
Weather a
internet.
fucking channel. You
Yeah.
know,
That's like Twitch and stuff like that. I mean, they
That's-
have that.
that's
It's
our
just it's
channel,
not
yeah.
on broadcast television. So it depends on what,
don't they have a channel for video games? A gaming channel?
Twitch.
well, yeah, well, not
No,
on,
like
on
on
TV.
cable.
They had like G4.
Oh, G4 was around for
But
a
it's
while,
not-
but
it's not-
that
it's
ended
done.
up being only having like 2 actual shows they created, and then they syndicated everything else.
Yeah,
So
that's
that,
a lot
that
of-
ended up kind of.
a lot of
going
cops and stuff like that.
But it's one of those.
Cubs. That sucks.
But nowadays, the internet, you can reach more going on the internet than broadcasting. So it's one of those. For gaming, it's probably better just to
best
stay on the
medium,
internet.
yeah, the
Because they
best
can reach
medium
more people.
for it.
Because they can reach other countries a lot easier. Because broadcast, we can't really broadcast to. You
Yeah,
can technically,
Line
but.
of sight by satellites.
But whether or not they're gonna actually watch it is a different. Because like with
Yeah, you
internet,
can
you're like,
air
you
it
can
up
log
and
in whatever
down. You
want.
can air it till you're blue in the face, but
I would think gaming could do okay on TV.
Sure.
But it's gonna do just for what it is. It's gonna online is where it's at. Like that's where gamers go.
I think that's probably where it'll stay, dude.
And
I don't see
I think that's where it
online
needs to
stuff.
stay. I don't really think it should. I'm like, if it's broadcasted great every once in a while, you're like, sure. But do I
Like
see it?
certain events, kind of like pay-per-view for UFC or boxing fights.
Oh,
you
if
know
they
what I
do
mean?
pay-per-view, nobody's gonna watch it. Nobody wants to pay for that. Because
Yeah.
why? When you
You
have
can
Twitch,
find it online for free.
yeah. why would you pay? Why would you pay to watch?
And
the
that's
same thing you
that's
can
probably
watch?
one of the things why it won't blow up so much because there's no formula to gain money on
Well, see,
that.
it
You know what I
has
mean?
blown
Well,
up.
well,
It
no.
already
If-
has blown up.
It's not. It's
But that's why it's not going to be as big as that's why it might not be as big as what I'm saying.
I
because
think it's growing
because it's kind
damn
of
fast.
the certain thing is back a few years ago the NFL areas would black out the games in those cities so that you'd have to buy fucking tickets to see this game. You wouldn't be able to see it. Like
Well-
say we were in Dallas and I wanted to go to the Cowboys game. They would black out the football game in the Dallas area so that you'd have to pay to go to the stadium and watch the game.
Well-
So that's kind of now it's different. But what I'm saying is that like they were trying to do this, they were doing the same thing. They were forcing people to do it one way in a certain area, and that didn't work. That's why it changed.
Yeah. The biggest thing I think gaming and streaming and all that stuff, that whole phenomenon came about after TV. So it's blowing past TV. Like it's if it were to go on TV, I think it's kind of like going backwards. Like it's why go. The internet's the future anyway. So that's where you want to be.
You are right. You are
Kind
right,
of what
dude.
I
That's
think
kind
it
of
is.
that's kind of what you want to do because of the fact that nobody's carrying around big screen TVs and you know what I mean. It's your phone or your tablet.
Well, what I think is the biggest difference is when you look at football became big when broadcast television was the main thing.
Yeah, when
Esports
TV had
became
just
big
came
when
out.
internet's the biggest
When
thing. So
internet,
they're I think they're eventually esports is going to catch up to sports. It will. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. I
Or-
have a hard time. Or it's going to be something slightly different.
Or
Be a different way of doing
They'll
it.
just
but-
combine like
sports,
real steel.
like traditional sports is going to try to catch up to internet gaming. Like it's
At
going to
some
try
point-
to it's
at
going to
some
try to
point,
be
they're gonna
more on the
realize,
internet.
They're like, oh crap, these guys on the internet are doing something. They figured something out that we haven't quite figured out yet. And then you're gonna
TVs
start
No,
seeing
I
it.
don't
TV's
think that. I don't think that.
TV's
at all.
dying. We need to
They
jump
have
on the
the
internet.
NFL app on the phones. You can watch cable on your phone.
Yeah, so
I mean, you know what I mean?
they're trying to get what Twitch is doing.
So cable has already evolved onto cell phones and tablets and
But
internet. So you don't need a TV or cable.
Not as much as Twitch. I mean, I would assume
gonna
a tournament
continue
on
to
Twitch is going to gain 100 times more viewers than
How much money is it going to take, though? How much sponsorship can they sell? How many commercial spots are they going to sell?
You know
what I
what's,
mean?
The
what's
exact amount.
interesting is you don't.
That's what I'm saying. The difference is like what he was saying a second ago about like what we're talking about being on television. It's like this stuff is on there because they can sell freaking Nike ads. You know what I mean?
Well,
Nike will buy the stuff from
Like I said, the
And-
winners
and-
got millions of dollars on that tournament
and that's fine. But the thing is,
through sponsors and advertising. That's how they got that money.
oh yes, but damn it.
So
I
here's the
lost my
question:
train.
what's your gauge of, I guess, success, just how much money is thrown around, or actually how many people are actually watching it.
How long it's been around and the longevity of it, man.
Well, when you think of it,
The longevity of it, you
video
know,
games
we
like
will
that haven't been
see.
a
We'll
long
see.
enough.
You know what I'm saying? Is what I'm saying. I don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes, but I mean, in the
yeah, give me a second. I'll go.
Okay.
in the sense of how fast everything happens online in the digital era, things are like the blink of an eye, dude.
See, but when you think
You know
of
what
it,
I'm
though, I
saying?
think competitive video gaming has grown way faster than football did. I think it got way popular way faster than it did.
Yeah,
So I mean,
but,
it's
you
one of those.
know-
It depends on how you gauge it. Like I think eventually, esports will probably overtake sports.
I think they'll probably merge. Eventually, sports and video gaming are going to be like video games in the army now, where you're sitting there with a controller guiding missiles and
They
jets
already
and
have.
shit. You know, that's what I
It's-
said.
Yeah,
it's going to be
it's
just
already
like that.
that's already
It's going to
true.
be just like that.
I'm kind of more on the side that on Fish's side, kind of esports is gonna. Well, I think TV's gonna die eventually. Like broadcast
But
TV
people
is
aren't
not
going
gonna
to stop playing football because of that.
Yeah, but it'll be on Twitch. Like it'll be Twitch
It'll-
will have its own
it'll
football
be
channel. Like
online.
NFL will be a
be
channel
online.
on Twitch or something. I mean,
Maybe. Who knows?
not
Online.
probably not those under those names or whatever it will be, or NFL might still be that name. But I think broadcasting
Twitch
it,
is going to run everything.
I think broadcast TV. Well,
It'll be on demand. Everything.
It would be
Every show
online.
will be
Yeah, it
online,
would
on
be
demand.
online.
Blah blah blah.
yeah, broadcast TV. I mean, I don't think it's going to be quick, but it's going to be online. Online is where everything's going to go to. That's my.
I just don't
belief.
see NFL, basketball, any of that dying anytime soon.
Well, no, we're
whether
not
it be
saying-
on TV or
It's not.
or
It's still
online.
going to be around, but it's going to evolve to a different medium. Is all we're saying. We're saying it's going to go for broadcast television is slowly going to die out to the internet because you can access the internet anytime, anywhere. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
then,
saying.
And
I
plus,
mean,
it's cheaper to broadcast to the internet than it is to broadcast to television.
Yeah.
So you're going to start seeing your TVs are just going to basically become glorified stream boxes. Is
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
It's
glorified monitors, man.
it's gonna the internet I think is gonna change a lot, but yeah, we're running out of time, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. I know we didn't solve that.
Yeah,
I don't
we
think
haven't
it's
solved
I don't think
anything.
it's solvable, but
I don't think so either. I mean, I enjoy both, dude. I've played video games most of my life. I played
just-
sports most of my life.
it's just
So, I mean,
different mindsets.
I'm passionate
different
about
people have.
both of them. Now, I can sit and watch football. I can sit and watch basketball. I can't sit and watch baseball, but I can't sit and watch people playing video games. It reminds me of
I'll
like
show you. I'll
when, like,
show you a video.
back in the day-
it is entertaining, and it's not that. It's clips. It's clips. What we mostly
Highlights.
watch. Yeah. So, but yeah,
I'll check it out. I
we'll
mean,
talk
hell,
about
I
it.
want to see what's up
Yeah.
with it.
But yeah, so that's gonna be our episode 80 of Thinking Outside
Episode
the Pod.
80.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all that good stuff.
And hopefully we can get something tried on that YouTube gaming thing.
Who knows?
We'll take a look
we'll
at
give
it.
a try.
I'll look into it and I'll see.
what's
what it's
needed
about,
and
yeah.
everything.
I think
so-
it looks cool as shit.
Yeah, I agree. But
Who
yeah,
knows?
that's our episode. We'll be back next Monday with episode 81.
All right. Later.
Bye.